Hey everyone, it's Jacqueline for Pixie Dust PhD. Recently, we talked about renting Disney Vacation Club points. If renting points is an option, why bother buying Disney Vacation Club? In today's video, we'll go over a few examples and talk about considerations for either renting or buying Disney Vacation Club. The most compelling arguments, in my opinion, are always monetary. So let's begin with some examples. I've done this math based off the 2020 points charts and 2020 annual dues. These 4 examples will be across different resorts at the Walt Disney World property for the 4 different villa types in 4 different seasons. First, a deluxe studio with a Savannah view at the Animal Kingdom villas. During Dream Season in 2020, which is the 3rd highest out of the 5 seasons, this will cost you 123 points for a week. Animal Kingdom dues in 2020 are around $7.67. Dues for 123 points will be around $950 total. Let's say instead you're renting points at $19 per point. 123 points at $19 per point puts you a little bit over $2,300. The difference between the amount paid in annual dues and the amount paid to rent at $19 per point is almost $1,400. Second, let's do an example for a Lakeview 1-bedroom villa at Bay Lake Tower. During Magic Season of 2020, which is the 4th highest season of the 5 total possible, this will cost 301 points for a week-long stay. 2020 annual dues at Bay Lake Tower are about $6.58 per point. For 301 points, the annual dues would amount to slightly over $1,900. This compares to renting 301 points at $19 per point, which brings you to over $5,700. The difference between the amount paid in annual dues and the amount paid to rent at $19 per point would be about $3,800. Third, a preferred view 2-bedroom villa at Boardwalk. During Choice Season of 2020, which is the 2nd highest out of the 5 total seasons, this would be 283 points for a week-long stay. 2020 annual dues at the Boardwalk are around $7.37 per point. For 283 points, your annual dues would amount to around $2,100. Renting 283 points at $19 per point would cost you a little less than $5,400. The difference between the amount paid in annual dues and the amount you would pay to rent is almost $3,300. And the last example will be a 3-bedroom grand villa at Old Key West. During Premier Season, this would be 615 points for a 1-week stay. Old Key West annual dues in 2020 are around $7.84 per point. 615 points at this rate would result in a little over $4,800 in dues. Of course, that's almost $5,000, which is a huge chunk of money. However, renting points at $19 per point for the same 615 points will amount to over $11,000. The difference in the amount paid to rent versus those paid in annual dues is over $6,800. These are only 4 examples, but I hope they illustrate the point. Across all of the various DVC seasons and at all of the resorts, the amount you would be paying in annual dues is far less than the amount you would pay to rent the equivalent amount of points. This fundamentally makes sense. DVC owners are selling off the points that they aren't going to use to third-party sites who will rent them off. The DVC owners, of course, are going to be paid in exchange for the points enough to cover at least their annual dues and possibly make a little profit. And then the third-party companies will turn around and rent those points out to non-DVC owners. The third-party companies, of course, will add a markup to those points. That way they can make a profit in order to be a profitable business. For example, a company may be buying points from owners for $15 per point and then turning around and selling them to renters for $19 per point. Renting is absolutely a great option, but monetarily it may not make sense. If you'd be renting points year after year for an extended length of time, the amount of money that you would save on your annual dues compared to renting points will absolutely add up. And while of course you would have your initial purchase price if you decided to buy DVC, and that is a large amount of money and not to be ignored, if you're staying DVC by renting points annually anyway, you would definitely hit your break-even point on that initial purchase price in not too long. In the long run, even with that initial purchase price, as long as you are consistently using your points, you absolutely will save money by buying Disney Vacation Club compared to renting it year after year. The cost of annual dues is absolutely not trivial, and definitely it will add up. However, if you're paying 50% or more than that every year by renting points, well, that of course will add up too. That being said, if you aren't renting points annually, or at least every other year, and you generally like to keep your vacation plans more loose and flexible, then maybe renting is the way to go for you and buying DVC doesn't make sense. The liquid value of that money may be worth a lot to you, and having it not tied up in Disney Vacation Club may make sense for you and your travel party. Also, if you don't think you'll continue traveling to Walt Disney World in the long run, then renting may make sense for now. For example, say you have young children now and they love going to Disney World for now, but you think they'll outgrow it, and you personally enjoy Disney World, but not enough to force them and your family to keep going every year, year after year. Well then yeah, continue to rent and maybe don't buy Disney Vacation Club. As we talked about in a prior video, owning Disney Vacation Club as opposed to renting is really a lot of certainty that you will be returning annually or at least every other year, and you're fine with having your finances tied up in that decision. The other major sticking point for some folks is renting does mean that you give up a certain amount of control. You really aren't in 100% control of your reservation. And therefore, this almost always means that renting policies are a lot stricter than they would be if you were a DVC owner and you were making your own reservation. In almost all cases, being a DVC owner and booking directly with DVC rather than renting points and going through a third-party company will give you more control and also offer you more flexibilities for your vacation. Owning DVC is absolutely not for everyone, and if renting is working well for you, then absolutely continue to rent points. However, if you anticipate taking Walt Disney World vacations long into the future, you may want to evaluate if renting does make sense or if you should bite the bullet and just buy DVC. If you found this information useful, I hope you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell icon for notifications for whenever I post new videos. And if you want to chat on other platforms, go ahead and find me on Twitter and Instagram at PixieDustPhD. Did you consistently rent points before buying DVC? What factors do you consider when thinking about renting versus buying? I hope the rest of your day is absolutely wonderful, and we'll see you next time at PixieDustPhD.